What's going on, people, and welcome to another video. This one's a bit different today to my usual videos, but it's covering the first leg of the last 16 for the Champions League. I'm just going to be speaking about a little bit of a recap of the games, just briefly, and then my thoughts on the second legs, obviously, and who's going to go through, and just a few stats for the competition so far as well. So I hope you enjoy it, something a little bit different. I'm probably going to try and do these every knockout round it goes through, including the final. So yeah, the first legs, obviously we had Sporting Lisbon versus Man City. Man City won 5-0 away from home. Just flawless victory. Sporting looked like they're in a different, a whole different game to City. Like, it was night and day with the quality, and I was quite shocked, to be honest, about the difference in skill level. I know it's Man City, but you have to be a decent side to get into the knockouts in the Champions League anyway. And some of the players they've produced in the past, Sporting, Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Nani, some quality players, but City just blew them away, and that's away from home 5-0. So we know that they've already won the second leg, and they're going to be into the quarterfinals. So their job is done already, pretty much. Obviously, they can't be too complacent in the second leg, but it's too much of a deficit to turn around for Sporting now. So City flawless in a 5-0 away win. PSG versus Madrid, 1-0 to PSG, late Mbappe goal, and I thought Courtois for Madrid had a great game and kept them in it as long as they were in it. And then right at the end, Mbappe scored a very well taken goal, and it was quite a tight game though. I think PSG probably did edge it, but it could have easily been a draw. But how Courtois played and kept them in it, and yeah, it was a close game in my opinion. So not a lot in that one going into the second leg, and it's going to be at Real Madrid this time. I feel like Madrid could still turn it around, but something in my head is telling me that PSG, even though they're just one, obviously there's no away goal rules anymore. So something in my head though, just saying that PSG will do enough to get through. But Real Madrid obviously have won it the most in history, so it would not surprise me if they can turn it around, because they've been there and done that. But I feel like this year, just something in my head, PSG to get through. So I'm going to go with PSG to get through in the second leg. Then we had Salzburg versus Bayern. It's one of the upsets of the first leg, I think, of the first leg games. It was a 1-1 draw, and Bayern, I only saw the highlights of it, but Bayern did not look at anywhere near what they're capable of. Maybe they underestimated Salzburg a bit, and Salzburg got a result, and I was quite shocked, to be honest. I expect Bayern to turn it around in the second leg. They're at home, and I do think that Bayern will go through. But fair play to Salzburg, because they've kept themselves in it for this up to this point anyway. And look, they could get a result in the next game. They got one in the first one, but I feel like Bayern's quality will inevitably show through in the end, and I think Bayern will go through. But a 1-0 in that game. We had Inter Milan against Liverpool. I was excited about this one. I actually watched this one, the full game. But to be honest, Liverpool was just routine for them. And being at Inter, they had a couple moments in. I remember they hit the bar, Inter. And they had a few moments, as I said, but Liverpool were pretty comfortable, I felt. And it was a routine win away from home. Not as many goals, obviously, as City did it, but still pretty comfortable when they go to Anfield. I feel like at Anfield, there's not many teams that could beat them, just over the years anyway, and I feel like we're Liverpool already into that quarter-final phase already, because going to Anfield now, Inter have got to get 3 goals to win, and then that means Liverpool not scoring as well. I can't see it happening at all. So Liverpool, for me, are through to the quarter-finals already before that second leg gets played. But yeah, routine, pretty comfortable for Liverpool. Chelsea versus Lille, pretty comfortable for Chelsea, I thought. Lille, very few moments in the game I felt that they troubled Chelsea. Just building nicely again to get into the next phase, and I think the second leg in Lille could be a bit tougher. They might get a draw perhaps, but I still think that they'll get a win in France. So I think Chelsea will be through to the quarterfinals, and a routine win at home, 2-0. Villarreal versus Juventus, another shock one for me, because I thought Juventus would have enough to get through in this, and it was a 1-1, similar to the Salzburg-Bayern. And from the highlights, I actually thought Villarreal were a better team. So fair play to them. Obviously, we lost out to them last year in the Europa League final, and I think they're a bit of an underestimated team, and people take them lightly, and I think Juventus did. And as I said from the highlights, I feel like Villarreal deserved to win that game. So I'm very intrigued to see how that second leg goes, because if they play like anywhere near the level they did in the first leg, I could see them causing an upset and knocking out Juventus. So look, keep a close eye on that one, because I think that could be very interesting. 1-1 from the first game, but I could see Villarreal causing an upset in that. Benfica versus Ajax. On highlights, this seemed like probably the best game of the lot, in terms of just end-to-end dramatic moments, and just exciting football. I thought it looked a brilliant game. When it finished 2-2, it was more like a knockout, like a FA Cup game, if you like. But Ajax still undefeated in the Champions League. Ten Hag's a sought-after man by a lot of clubs, I think, including United. And yeah, I think it was a great game from what I saw of it. And I'd go for Ajax in the second leg because they're at home, and off of the fact that they're unbeaten still. I think I just see them getting through to the next phase with that, and that confidence and momentum. But Benfica, they're still in it, like it's level at the moment. So, but I'm going to go with Ajax to go through in the second leg. Don't know what score, but I will go with Ajax. But a great game, the first one. So if you're a neutral and none of your teams are in this, I would advise you to check out the second leg of that, because the first one I thought was a brilliant game. And then lastly, we had Atletico Madrid against Manchester United. I was very nervous and doubtful about the game. I didn't think we'd get anything from it, being in Atletico. Suarez was on the bench, which I think was a huge thing for us, because if he'd have played, I think it would have been worse. Griezmann come on second half and hit the crossbar when it was at 1-1, right near the end of the game, and it could have easily ended 2-1. So we rode our luck with that. And I feel like they were the better team than us. Elanga with a crucial equaliser, coming off the bench and showing great composure and just confidence for someone of his age, coming off the bench and grabbing a result for us in that. And it makes it more of a manageable game at Old Trafford now at home than if it would have been 1-0 to Atletico. But we can't mess about with them at home, because they could nick it, even though it's at Old Trafford in front of our fans, because they're a shrewd team. They know how to get things done. They've done it over the years, and with Simeone in charge, he knows his team and he knows how to set them up. So I expect it to be just as hard as at Old Trafford. That should play into our advantage and into our hands, that we are the home team and we got the fans behind us. But the way the club is, and games like this that we should be, like, you hope we should be winning and expect us to, we very rarely do. So, look, I could see this going to extra time in the second leg and potentially penalties the way we're playing. And we may even still win it on that, but I don't know how to call it. I fancy our chances because we're at home, but it's so 50-50 and up in the air. Like, it's hard to call. I think it's the hardest game to call out of the lot, to be honest. So, for me, maybe other than PSG Madrid. So, for me, I'd like to think we can go through in the next round. Of course we can, but Atletico are tough and they get to semi-finals and finals a lot. For me, if we can get past them, it should give us a lot of confidence, but we still make a lot of mistakes in games we shouldn't, against opposition we shouldn't, and end up losing them sort of games that we should be winning. So nothing surprises me with Manchester United anymore. And I hope we can scrape a win in the second leg and get through to the quarters. I don't expect us to win the tournament at all, but just to be able to say we got to the quarters would be nice. And I do have faith we can, but it's like I said, it's 50-50. I'm not one way or the other. Do you know what I mean? Because you just don't know what we're going to get from us. So a tough one to call. I'm going to obviously back United, but I wouldn't be surprised if Atletico knock us out either. So that is it for the recaps of the games, guys. Just a few stats I wanted to mention for general interest of stats for the competition this year. Man City and Bayern Munich are the joint top goals for the teams, closely followed by Ajax. Man City and Bayern are on 23 goals, and Ajax are on 22. And then in fourth, you've got Liverpool with 19. Possession stats and percentages, Chelsea are actually top with 60.9% of possession per game. Man City are joint second with Ajax, who are both on 58.6%. And Liverpool with 58.4%. Pass and accuracy for the competition, Man City are top Not by a huge ton though, and there's probably as much people as expect. They're at 90.7, and second is a bit of a surprise for me reading it here. Shakhtar Donetsk, who are now longer in the tournament, were second with 90.5. So, and then you got PSG and Real Madrid. So, bit of a surprising one for me, that, with Shakhtar in second place, because they're not in the tournament anymore, but up to this point their passing accuracy was second best, which is impressive. Total attempts, so obviously this would be like shots. Bayern Munich are top with 129, Inter Milan are second with 126, Man City third, 123, Liverpool fourth, 116, Ajax fifth, 114, Real Madrid 613. Clean sheets, Chelsea are top with 5. Second, a joint second, Benfica, Juventus, Madrid and Bayern Munich are all on 4. And then following up after, a Liverpool with 3. So that is it, guys, for my first round recap of the Champions League first legs. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the stats. Let me know your thoughts if your team's in the tournament still, and your chances, if you think you're going to go all the way, who your team is, and yeah, your prediction for the game, whoever your team is. And I'll speak to you guys soon.